Okay, we're going to start the 6 weeks talking about electricity. Shocking topics. Start off talking about different classes of materials. Conductors, materials in which charges may move freely. Another way to say this, they allow the flow of electrons. The other topic or class are insulators, materials in which charges cannot move. You can say they resist flow. One thing to know about conductors and insulators. Conductors are going to transfer charge the easiest. Conductors will transfer charge easiest. When we're talking about charges, the first thing we'll look at is static electricity. It's the buildup of an electric charge on the surface. Think about rubbing the balloon on your hair on the wall. What you're doing is transferring electrons. You're moving the electrons from one object to the other. It's a stored energy, so it does not move. Two rules of electrostatics. First one, attraction occurs between particles. Attraction occurs between particles with opposite charges. Repulsion, the same charge. Think like this. Opposites attract. Likes repel. You will need to know those rules of electrostatics. When we're talking about charges, other thing we need to look at is what's called Coulomb's law. This relates the electrical force between two charged objects. Need to know the relation. Charge and force are directly proportional. So if this goes up, this will go up. They are directly proportional. Distance and force are inversely proportional. So if this goes up, this will go down. You have to know that relationship between those two objects, those two variables. Directly, inversely. This is the equation for Coulomb's law. The electrical force equals K, which is Coulomb's constant, right there. Q1, Q2, these are your two charges, which will be measured in coulombs, just a capital C. D squared, this is your distance, which will be measured in meters. Here's your example, Q1, Q2. So you have different charges and your radius. You will have to do problems using this law, so make sure you're comfortable with it. To make sure, here's an example. Set this up again. When you set up the equation, force equals K Q1 Q2 divided by D squared. There's your Q1, there's your Q2, there's your D. Plug that in, see if you get the correct answer, which should be 2.98 times 10 to the negative fourth newtons. Now, whenever we have this buildup of electric charge, we have to discharge it. This is like when you're rubbing your feet on the carpet, touch something, you send a shock. That's the first way you can discharge it. It's through friction. Second way is direct contact. That's called conduction. And the third one is induction, by proximity. What this means is bringing something close together. So you don't have to touch it for there to be a transfer of charge. It just has to be close. When we start doing that, we're looking at moving charges. So charges are surrounded by electric fields. They exert forces on other charges. That potential difference, or the voltage, provides energy to move the charge. The voltage pushes the charge away, and that creates a current, which is the movement of the charge. So you'll need to know current is a moving charge. Current, which we represent by I, is the movement of electrons from positive to negative. From positive, it always flows from positive to negative. Electric potential, which we're going to call voltage, we're going to symbolize by the letter V. That creates the electric field. 1 volt is 1 joule per coulomb. And we have to know about resistance. This is the opposition to the flow of current. This stops the flow of electrons. The symbol is going to be R. It's going to be measured in ohms. That's the Greek letter omega. The resistance will depend on the material and the cross-sectional area. 3 things that can influence resistance: the material of the wire. If it's a good conductor, it's going to have a low resistance. The thickness of the wire. The thicker the wire, the lower the resistance. The length. If it's shorter, it has a lower resistance. And the temperature. Lower temperature, lower resistance. Know those 4 things that will influence the resistance. Be sure you go to the Moodle page to take the quiz. It's listed under Current and Charge Quiz.